I don't consider myself a vehicle designer. I think that there are some great designers out there, guys like Chip Foose, Dave Kindig, Rick Dorr. Those are people who design vehicles. I am a builder. I know how to build a cool vehicle, whether it's a street car or an off-road rig. I also know what parts will work together really well. And I think that's the difference between a designer and a builder. A designer's going to make very, very subtle changes to a vehicle that are going to completely change the way you look at it. A builder like me, I'm just going to build you something that works really well, performs a task, and in this case, it's crawling over rocks, and does it to the best of its ability. So I think I don't knock designers. I love what they do. I just know I'm not one of them. I just build cool junk and have fun. This week, it's all about beefing up the unibody structure on the Comanche. If you remember last time, I showed you how the cab was like a traditional unibody structure, like a Cherokee, but the bed comes off and you're left with this little sort of frame rail on the back, which isn't really strong because it's made out of really thin steel. So to make it stronger, I'm gonna plate that unibody structure. But I don't just want to add a whole bunch of steel because that's going to add a whole bunch of weight, and what makes this truck awesome is the fact that it's fairly light. So I'm just going to beef it up in certain key areas for things like rock sliders or suspension mounts that I'll add later on. It's not really that hard. There's lots of options out there. All it takes is a grinder, a welder, and a radio. Everyone always wonders, and me too, because this is my first Comanche, how similar is it to the Jeep Cherokee? They look almost identical. Well, the reality is they're not. Basically, from the firewall forward, they're the same, but from the firewall back, they're different. So on the front firewall, I've gone ahead and I'm using a frame stiffening kit from Ruff's Off-Road that just basically clamps on the outside of the frame and then you weld it in place. For the middle and back, I have a set of Unibody Stiffeners from Ruff Specialties, but these are for a Jeep Cherokee. Now you can buy MJ specific ones, but I knew that I was going to be modifying the chassis a lot for the suspension that I plan to run. So these were just a good price point, and I figured, with enough cutting, grinding, and welding, I could make them work, and I did. Welding on these unibody stiffeners is it's the worst combination. You've got thin metal welding onto really thick metal, and then these trucks, it's stamped steel that's sometimes spot welded, and then there might be some paneled bond adhesive in there, and then it's got a galvalume coating. So as you're welding, there's just going to be off-gassing happening, and the weld's going to occasionally pop and kick back into the nozzle. So you just got to pay attention, keep your tip good and clean, clean out that nozzle. It's going to be a lot of spatter. Open the door, turn on the fan, and just do the best you can. It's not going to be perfect, and you just got to commit to that. I mean, it's going to be covered up with undercoating anyway, so it'll be all right.